There was a time when retirement actually meant something. You worked hard, paid your taxes, raised your kids, and looked forward to that one moment when you can finally breathe, when your time belonged to you, when you can stop surviving and start enjoying life. But that dream is gone. That version of retirement doesn't exist for most Americans anymore. Retirement means anxiety. It means budgeting your pills, choosing between heating and groceries, watching your 401k lose 20% in a single quarter. Retirement now means survival. And more Americans are realizing they can't afford to do that in their own country, so they're leaving. In record numbers, middle-class Americans are packing up and heading overseas. And it's not for adventure. It's not about chasing new experiences. It's about escaping, running from a system that's breaking down in real time. But here's the part no one wants to talk about. The rest of the world is starting to notice, and they are not thrilled. In this episode, we're going to break down exactly what's driving this American exodus, how Trump's second term just torched the retirement savings of an entire generation, and how the countries Americans are fleeing to are now pushing back with new rules, new resentment, and a message that's loud and getting louder every day. You're not welcome here anymore. And yes, you can still make the move, but only if you understand the new landscape and act strategically. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button right now. We don't sugarcoat things. We give you the truth about what actually takes to move abroad, retire with some dignity, and have a life that still makes sense, even when your own country doesn't. We post videos every week with honest advice, updated data, global insights that cut through the noise. So if you're thinking about leaving the US, you'll want to stick around. The collapse of retirement in America. Let's start with what's happening at home. According to the Federal Reserve's latest data, the median retirement savings for Americans between 55 and 64 years old is just $88,400. That's not a typo. $88,000. That's not enough to retire comfortably for 2 years in a mid-range U.S. city, let alone fund decades of healthcare, housing, and emergencies. Social Security, for those who qualify, pays an average of $1,970 per month. And that check needs to cover everything: rent, food, utilities, insurance, prescriptions, and good luck if you're still paying off a mortgage, credit card, or a car loan. Now, let's talk about where you're living. As of this year, the average rents in cities like Tampa, Boise, and Phoenix has passed $2,000 per month. That's before utilities, before groceries, and before anything else. And healthcare? If you're on Medicare, still dealing with deductibles, copays, uncovered prescriptions, and in many states, monthly supplemental premiums that now exceed $500 a month. Meanwhile, in a recent survey from Kaiser Family Foundation shows that medical debt is now the leading cause of personal bankruptcy in the United States, more than credit cards, more than housing, more than student loans. So when you ask why so many Americans are leaving, it's not a mystery. It's a mass escape from a system that no longer protects them. Trump's second term just torched your future. Now, let's talk about what made everything so much worse so quickly. Trump is back in office, and his economic policies are already having devastating consequences, especially for retirees. Let's hope by the time you watch this video that it has all been straightened out, that the grand plan has come to fruition. In his first 100 days, President Trump imposed sweeping tariffs on imports from China, the European Union, Mexico, and others. Some of these tariffs reach as high as 145%, but even the minimum 10% is huge. After a lifetime of buying overseas and shipping to the USA, which means paying tariffs, Leslie is having a heart attack. The global response? Immediate. International markets plunged. American companies with overseas supply chains saw costs skyrocket, and investors panicked. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 32% in the first quarter of 2025. The stock markets have taken hits up to 16% year to date. Some companies have dropped 50%. And for those of you with 401ks, IRAs, or pension-linked investments, this wasn't just a paper loss for some of your random person. It was your future. It was real money, your money, vanishing. According to CNBC, the average American retiree has lost 20 to 30% of their retirement savings since January of this year. If you're already retired, that's income that you were relying on, gone. If you are planning to retire soon, you're probably looking at working years longer or slashing your lifestyle to the bone. And here's the worst part. There's no recovery coming soon. Economists predict that with tariffs still in place and no trade resolution in sight, we're looking at years of suppressed market growth and rising consumer prices. So where does that leave you? For millions, the answer is simple: get out. But what's waiting on the other side might not be what you expected. The backlash abroad is real and growing. It's easy to think that other countries would welcome Americans with open arms. After all, you're bringing money, right? But that assumption is starting to backfire badly. Let's start with Portugal. Americans are now the largest group of foreign buyers in Lisbon. In the past 5 years, rent in central neighborhoods has gone up more than 65%. Locals have been priced out of their own homes. Entire communities have been converted into expat enclaves and short-term rentals. The result? Protests in the streets. Slogans painted on the wall. Lisbon is not your retirement plan. Over in Spain, it's no better. In Valencia and Barcelona, long-term residents are being pushed out to the outskirts while Americans with cash, and often no language skills, move in, drive up prices, and isolate themselves in digital nomad bubbles. In Mexico, particularly in cities like Oaxaca, Tulum, San Miguel de Allende, American retirees are often referred to in local media as economic colonizers, people who show up with stronger currencies, outbid the locals for rentals, and then complain about the infrastructure or culture. A survey conducted by El Financiero in January of 2025 showed that 62% of American respondents believe American expats are doing more harm than good in their communities. And in Thailand, Colombia, and parts of Eastern Europe, the pattern repeats itself. American retirees are blamed for everything from gentrification to disrespectful behavior to avoiding taxes by paying under the table. So yes, you might be spending money, but in the eyes of many locals, you're not spending it with them. You're spending it around them, in foreign-owned properties, in expat-run businesses, on imported goods, and the benefits aren't trickling down to them. You're not just another visitor. You're a symbol of how inequality crosses borders. And in 2025, that's a very different kind of traveler. You can still move, but you can't wing it anymore. Here's the good news. You can still make this work. You can still move abroad, retire affordably, and live well. But the old way, the casual, unprepared, show up and figure it out way, is dead. If you want to live abroad without resentment, without backlash, and without putting yourself in legal or financial danger, you need to have a plan, a real plan. That means researching which visas you can actually qualify for, not just listening to Facebook groups. It means proving income, securing long-term housing, showing them up with the right documentation and the right attitude. It means trying to learn the language, respecting the culture, spending your money locally, becoming a guest, not a ghost, not hiding out in gated communities and pretending the country you move to is just another cheaper America. The retirees who do this well are embraced. They're invited in. They build connections. They create value. And most importantly, they understand that retirement abroad is not a right, it's a privilege. If you're serious about making this move and you want to do it right, we can help. Go to www.it'llbefunretirement.com and schedule your free one-to-one consultation with our relocation team. We'll walk you through your options based on your budget, your timeline, and the current political and visa landscapes. Join our monthly online calls where we cover the latest updates from around the world, where Americans are being welcomed, where the rules are changing, and how to navigate the chaos. And when you're ready, dive into our It'll Be Fun Moving Abroad program, your step-by-step blueprint for planning your move, securing housing, understanding local systems, and becoming the kind of expat that people want to live next to. And don't forget, sign up for the free newsletter while you're on the site. It's packed with weekly tips, updates, and smart strategies for living better, for less, in a place that still makes sense. You worked your whole life for this. You did everything that they told you to do. But the system changed, and now you have to change with it. Don't wait till things get worse. Don't wait till every visa door closes. Don't assume the world is waiting with open arms. Subscribe to this channel for more real talk, real data, real strategies for retiring smarter, no matter where you end up. And in the comments, let us know, if you had to leave tomorrow, where would you go? And how would you want to show up? Because in 2025, the American dream isn't dying, it's just moving.